planetary custodians. Each Urantia world, from the mansion worlds up to the universe headquarters, is in the custody, as regards Urantia affairs, of 70 guardians. They constitute the local planetary council of supreme Urantia authority. This council grants material for Urantia forms to all ascending creatures who land on the spheres, and authorizes those changes in creature form which make it possible for an ascender to proceed to the succeeding sphere. After the mansion worlds have been traversed, you will translate from one phase of Urantia life to another without having to surrender consciousness. Unconsciousness attends only the earlier metamorphoses and the later transitions from one universe to another and from Havona to Paradise. 4. Combined Controllers. One of these highly mechanical beings is always stationed at the center of each administrative unit of a Urantia world. The combined controller is sensitive to and functional with physical, spiritual, and Urantial energies, and with this being there are always associated 2 system coordinators, 4 circuit regulators, 1 planetary custodian, 1 liaison stabilizer, and either an associate registrar or a selective assorter. 5. Liaison stabilizers. These are the regulators of the Urantia energy in association with the physical and spirit forces of the realm. They make possible the conversion of Urantia energy into Urantia material. The whole Urantia organization of existence is dependent on the stabilizers. They slow down the energy revolutions to that point where physicalization can occur, but I have no terms with which I can compare or illustrate the ministry of such beings. It is quite beyond human imagination. 6. Selective assorters. As you progress from one class or phase of a Urantia world to another, you must be rekeyed or advance-tuned, and it is the task of the selective assorters to keep you in progressive synchrony with the Urantia life. While the basic Urantia forms of life and matter are identical from the first mansion world to the last universe transition sphere, there is a functional progression which gradually extends from the material to the spiritual. Your adaptation to this basically uniform but successively advancing and spiritizing creation is effected by this selective rekeying. Such an adjustment in the mechanism of personality is tantamount to a new creation, notwithstanding that you retain the same Urantia form. You may repeatedly subject yourself to the test of these examiners, and as soon as you register adequate spiritual achievement, they will gladly certify you for advanced standing. These progressive changes result in altered reactions to the Urantia environment, such as modifications in food requirements and numerous other personal practices. The selective assorters are also of great service in the grouping of Urantia personalities for purposes of study, teaching, and other projects. They naturally indicate those who will best function in temporary association. 7. Associate registrars. The Urantia world has its own recorders, who serve in association with the spirit recorders in the supervision and custody of the records and other data indigenous to the Urantia creations. The Urantia records are available to all orders of personalities. All Urantia transition realms are accessible alike to material and spirit beings. As Urantia progressors, you will remain in full contact with the material world and with material personalities, while you will increasingly discern and fraternize with spirit beings, and by the time of departure from the Urantia regime, you will have seen all orders of spirits with the exception of a few of the higher types, such as solitary messengers. 3. Urantia companions. These hosts of the mansion and Urantia worlds are the offspring of a local universe mother spirit. They are created from age to age in groups of 100,000, and in Nebadon there are at present over 70 billion of these unique beings. Urantia companions are trained for service by the Melchizedeks on a special planet near Salvington. They do not pass through the central Melchizedek schools. In service they range from the lowest mansion worlds of the systems to the highest study spheres of Salvington, but they are seldom encountered on the inhabited worlds. They serve under the general supervision of the sons of God and under the immediate direction of the Melchizedeks. The Urantia companions maintain 10,000 headquarters in a local universe. on each of the first mansion worlds of the local systems. They are almost wholly a self-governing order and are, in general, an intelligent and loyal group of beings, but every now and then, in connection with certain unfortunate celestial upheavals, they have been known to go astray. Thousands of these useful creatures were lost during the times of the Lucifer Rebellion in Satania. Your local system now has its full quota of these beings, the loss of the Lucifer Rebellion having only recently been made up. There are two distinct types of Urantia companions. One type is aggressive, the other retiring, but otherwise they are equal in status. They are not sex creatures, but they manifest a touchingly beautiful affection for one another. And while they are hardly companionate in the material, human sense, they are very close of kin to the human races in the order of creature existence. The midway creatures of the worlds are your nearest of kin, then come the Urantia cherubim, and after them the Urantia companions. These companions are touchingly affectionate and charmingly social beings. They possess distinct personalities, and when you meet them on the mansion worlds, after learning to recognize them as a class, you will soon discern their individuality. Mortals all resemble one another. At the same time, each of you possesses a distinct and recognizable personality. Something of an idea of the nature of the work of these Urantia companions may be derived from the following classification of their activities in a local system. 1. Pilgrim guardians are not assigned to specific duties in their association with the Urantia progressors. These companions are responsible for the whole of the Urantia career, and are therefore the coordinators of the work of all other Urantia and transition ministers. 2. Pilgrim receivers and free associators. These are the social companions of the new arrivals on the mansion worlds. One of them will certainly be on hand to welcome you when you awaken on the initial mansion world from the first transit sleep of time, when you experience the resurrection from the death of the flesh into the Urantia life. And from the time you are thus formally welcomed on awakening to that day when you leave the local universe as a first-stage spirit, these Urantia companions are ever with you. Companions are not assigned permanently to individuals. An ascending mortal on one of the mansion or higher worlds might have a different companion on each of several successive occasions, and again might go for long periods without one. It would all depend on the requirements and also on the supply of companions available. 3. Hosts to celestial visitors. These gracious creatures are dedicated to the entertainment of the superhuman groups of student visitors and other celestials who may chance to sojourn on the transition worlds. You will have ample opportunity to visit within any realm you have experientially attained. Student visitors are allowed on all inhabited planets, even those in isolation. 4. Coordinators and liaison directors. These companions are dedicated to the facilitation of Urantia intercourse and to the prevention of confusion. They are the instructors of social conduct and Urantia progress, sponsoring classes and other group activities among ascending mortals. They maintain extensive areas wherein they assemble their pupils and from time to time make requisition on the celestial artisans and the reversion directors for the embellishment of their programs. As you progress, you will come in intimate contact with these companions, and you will grow exceedingly fond of both groups. It is a matter of chance as to whether you will be associated with an aggressive or a retiring type of companion. 5. Interpreters and translators. During the early Mansonia career, you will have frequent recourse to the interpreters and the translators. They know and speak all the tongues of a local universe. They are the linguists of the realms. You will not acquire new languages automatically. You will learn a language over there much as you do down here, and these brilliant beings will be your language teachers. The first study on the mansion worlds will be the tongue of Satania and then the language of Nebadon. And while you are mastering these new tongues, the Urantia companions will be your efficient interpreters and patient translators. You will never encounter a visitor on any of these worlds, but that some one of the Urantia companions will be able to officiate as interpreter. 6. Excursion and reversion supervisors. These companions will accompany you on the longer trips to the headquarters sphere and to the surrounding worlds of transition culture.